Hello everybody, welcome back to the next episode of Kerbal Space Program 0.25. So here we are in a orbit close to Moho, trying to get these guys home. We only have 1100 meters per second left, and for some reason we didn't do our phase angle right, or we did something incorrect, but for some reason we're just way behind Kerbin, and we're not going to meet up, and we don't have enough fuel to make any sort of corrections good enough to get these two things to line up. So as I said in the last episode, we're going to do this the old-fashioned way, where basically we're going to time warp around until Kerbin and our ship miraculously meet up at some point. Now hopefully along that journey we won't accidentally get any encounters with Eve or Moho again. The only encounter we want is one with Kerbin. Unfortunately, we are crossing many of the paths of these planets. I mean, the inclination's a little off from it, but you never know. But I think that's what we're gonna do in this episode. So in other words, like, let's just fast forward things, and we can see that we are catching up on Kerbin, but it's too late. Like, we'd have to be more like this, something like that. But unfortunately, yeah, like I said before, there's really no amount of correction that we can do that's going to make this work. It'll be close, like it says we're off by about 4 million kilometers, which is relatively close, cosmically speaking, but unfortunately it's just not going to be good enough. We don't have enough fuel to muck around like that. Let's see, it looks like we're getting close, right? But unfortunately, we're just going too slow by this point, and Kerbin's just going to blast right by us. So let's see what happens here. So now it says we're going to be over here when it's over there. So this is what I mean by the old-fashioned way. We're just going to basically let them sit in space for years and years, maybe decades, maybe centuries they'll be in space. But eventually, these 2 points are going to coincide, and we're going to be able to figure out what to do with them. But that could take a while, so I'm not going to do it on camera, because we could be sitting here for hours, who knows. But so we'll do a little cut till something looks a little better. Aha! So I've gotten something here. So I had to go around till about 2 more years. It's now 4 years in the mission, and I got a close encounter that was saying that it was going to be like here and here. So I was like, oh, well, let's just pop a maneuver node, and basically by finagling, you could see the blue orbit's what we were on. I basically just cut down the orbital period. Basically, by coming in closer to the sun, it's going to speed us up, and we were able to catch up on Kerbin in only 700 meters per second of fuel, which is enough. And now I'm just trying to bring this down as close as possible now, because the more we do it now, the less we'll have to burden later. So we're at about 9 million meters now. I'm just going to keep trying to get this lower. Oh, that was worse. We'll go this way. 9.7. 10. Alright, so the blue is, we're out of good luck with the blue. Let's see if we pull prograde. 10. 21. Okay, so basically we should leave it here. I think I'm gonna do this because this seems like our best option. We'll use 700. We'll still have a bit left, hopefully, and then so at least we'll get our encounter. So then, it's a matter of just bringing that encounter in as close as we can possibly get it. And you know, if you think about it, 9 million meters, that's not so bad. Let's focus view on Kerbin. Oh, so we'd be under it. This is good to know. Let's see what happens if we... Ooh, we have to go this way. Oh, wow, that works. 2 million. Oh, let's get it in there. Wow, we can basically fix this right now. 900,000. I'm doing this because I'm tired of waiting. These Kerbals are tired of waiting. Everyone's tired of waiting. So Good, our ship's still powered up. We have just like basically running on fumes here. This tank and this tank on both sides. Oh, I'm so glad we got that. So let's do that. We'll point ourselves. Now the burn is in 21 days. It's not quite. We're not quite there yet, but it is coming up. Where are we now? We are over here. Moho Explorer. I would like to set focus view on myself, but it's not going to let us do it. Oh, good. Okay. Oh yeah, so the node's coming up right here. So we'll get ourselves close to that node. Just right up to it. It's going to be a 2-minute burn. We have 2 minutes and 46 seconds. We're going to have 46 seconds of thrust left over in this thing. Oh my goodness. Just enough thrust to make any final corrections. In other words, just bringing our periapsis in so that we can sink in the atmosphere. That's going to be what that 45 seconds is left for. Alright, let's do this burn. Pretty much right on the money there. So yes, as you can see, we're sort of burning in sort of like a retrograde fashion, pulling our orbit in closer to the sun. So therefore by getting us closer to the sun, we are increasing our velocity so we can catch up with Kerbin again. So basically this whole time we've been behind it. There was a few instances when I was warping around off camera that Kerbin was behind us, but there was no amount of tinkering I could do that would fix it for good. It's gonna be real close, guys. It's gonna be so close. Uncomfortably close. Normally I like to have at least 1,000 meters per second left over at the end of all my missions, but it's gonna be in the low triple digits or maybe even the double digits. Oh god. This is probably the closest I've ever cut any sort of mission. I mean, look at this. Now we're gonna basically be using this last little tank. Thank god I put that on there, right? That was a last minute decision that I am so happy I did now. Alright, getting down to the nitty gritty. We'll just keep pointing at that node. Alright, we'll cut it off. Let's see what we got. Periapsis 4 million. This is where RCS really comes in handy. We'll just keep doing it with RCS. And as you can see, we're just getting it right down to 400,000 meters. That's super close. So basically, once we get into this encounter here, we can just burn in towards Kerbin, barely use any fuel at all, and that should sink us into the atmosphere. Alright. I feel confident enough in our abilities here. I think we did a good enough job. Let's see, fuel check. Nothing. We have 70 liters of fuel, 86 oxidizer left. This thing is much lighter now, that's for sure. Only 17,000 kilograms. The guys are happy. I think they know that they're going to get their Kerbin encounter. They're good pilots. They did the math. They did their homework. So we could just swoop in for, this time, an even closer encounter with the sun, which is definitely interesting. I wonder what close solar orbit is. You can see our orbital velocity is really jumping up there now. I might just freeze it around the periapsis. Oh, look at that beast. So we are indeed closer in to the sun than Moho gets, basically. I wonder if this counts as low solar orbit. No, it still says high over the sun. I have a feeling you gotta be probably around this distance to consider low solar orbit. Which someday I do want to send a probe or something out there. Not a manned crew, I don't think they deserve that kind of punishment, but we'll send something out there. Oh man, look how cool that is. We're super close to the sun. Collecting a good 13.56 energy flow. Alright, let's keep moving. Keep her moving. So you can see we're swooping in here. Super fast, catching up on Kerbin. Now we're pretty much parallel. Looks like we're going to go a little ahead of it, or we'll just continue to come in pretty relatively close. Yeah, now it's zooming in on us. Descending node is still good, 0.1. This is what I like to see. This is better. Kerbin should be over in this vicinity somewhere. Let's see if we can see it yet. We'll point at the target, which is Kerbin. Oh yeah, there it is. Just a little tiny twinkling right there. It's exciting. The sun looks a lot more docile from this distance. Kerbin's growing a little bigger. We use our last 50 seconds of thrust to get our periapsis into about 20. I'm not taking any chances. It's going to be 20-kilometer periapsis. There's Kerbin. You can really see her now. It's been a 5-year journey. These poor Kerbals are exhausted. Their legs are getting cramped from being strapped into that tiny little capsule for so long. There's our home planet. We're just flying right at it. That must be a good feeling, knowing that you're more or less flying straight at it. Oh, we must have, yeah, we made our encounter. Woo, that was close. So we're 420, or 467. We're just going to pop a maneuver, if it'll let me. Yeah, right there. And essentially, just going to bring this in. There would be a moon encounter. Oh, does that mess us up at all? No, not really. Periapsis 90. Oh, there would be a freaking stupid moon encounter. Periapsis 11. Periapsis 14. I feel good about 14. Looks like the moon isn't really going to affect us that much. This is the moon's last FU to us. It's like, huh, you thought you could get away with it? Nah, I'm back for another round of punishment. That's basically, that's my moon voice, my evil moon voice. Nah, you thought you can get away with it, huh? I don't hate the moon, it's just it gets in the way. Alright. Let's do it. We'll just do this manually. Bringing her on in. Bring her home, baby. I'm assuming this is the post-moon periapsis. I'm going to bring that right into about 20. Should get us there. Let's do the RCS. 22. We'll go with 21.3. That'll do it for sure. Wow. You know, for a while there, I wasn't sure we were ever going to get these guys home. I was sitting there like, man, I'm going to have to, like, just call this mission to a close and leave them in orbit. I mean, technically we got the contract, right? So, I mean, I didn't say anything about getting them home. But no, I was not going to be a cop-out like that. I was definitely going to get these guys home. And what kind of Kerbal, I don't know, I was going to say, what kind of human being would I be if I just let these guys strand out here? But anyways, let's zoom in time a little bit, and that'll be cool. We'll get a nice little mooner flyby. There's Minmus. We'll get close to Minmus too, actually. Right about at Minmus's orbit, just about. Let's see. I wonder if we could see Minmus. Minmus is to the left of Kerbin. Ah, there's Minmus is right there. It's pretty big. Wow. So we almost had a Minmus encounter too, but here's the stupid moon we're gonna hit. Well, hopefully we're not gonna hit the moon. That would be very sad, wouldn't it? That would be a sad day if we smacked into the moon instead of just using its gravity. Oh man, here it comes. Let's see what happens. Yeah, we're definitely not gonna hit the moon. And it looks like we're gonna hit it on this side, so it's gonna give us a bit of a slingshot, I think is what's gonna happen. It's actually gonna help us, not hurt us. You see the purple line is a little further inside than the blue line, basically meaning that the moon's gravity is gonna give us a little burst of speed. Have we hit the... We're about to hit the moon encounter. Yeah, we're pretty far away from it, so it's not really gonna drag us too far. Alright. Technically we're in the moon's influence now. You guys want to stop at the moon? Yeah, you know, let's just, yeah, let's... No, just kidding. That would be... That just wouldn't happen. So we got a nice moon flyby. I don't think we have any more science to do with this sort of distance from the moon. I mean, we've already gotten our far lunar orbit science. We're not going to worry about that. Fairly certain we've got our far lunar data. EVA. Yeah, we've got that already too. Well, that is a pretty shot though, isn't it? That might be the thumbnail of this video. It's kind of like a homecoming shot. It's like, welcome back to your planet. You got a nice moon shot right there. We saw Minmus before. It's like we're getting the whole tour. So that's exciting. Alright, enough BS, enough chit-chat. Let's just get this thing over with. Make sure not to time warp around the escape. Because it's true, it'll mess with your mathematics. The game doesn't quite know what to do if you're time warping. Alright, there we are. Let's just double check that our periapsis is still decent. 21.2, that's what we want. Alright. So I think I'll wait till we basically know we're okay before I cut this thing loose. I'll wait a little longer, basically. Getting in there now. Oh boy, there she is. What a beautiful sight. I mean, man, after all this, after the desolation of Moho, just the oven-baked world with no atmosphere, come back to this beautiful, pretty blue and green and white little marble, this hospitable world that can support our life. But we're explorers. That's what we do. We put risk ahead of the fear of failure, because it's all worth it in the end. It's worth the exploration. It's worth the risk. So here we come. Basically what I'm going to do is point this thing in a retro fashion. I'm going to jettison the thing here. Actually, I'm going to point us sideways just so we can RCS away from it. And let's go ahead. Had a little frame drop there for a second. We will go ahead and undock. I'll go back to this thing, and since this thing is still technically being controlled, let's RCS-N, get away from it, and these two things will then come in separately. We don't need these solar panels anymore. We are coming in hot. Well, fast rather, not quite hot yet, but we're coming in fast. And again, I'm hoping that we don't hit any sort of mountains. I would love to land in the ocean, or maybe at least some kind of flat land. Where are we going to land anyway? Doesn't really matter because we use those... we're going to land on the opposite side of the planet, of course, as usual. But that's why I put on that extra perk from... What was it? Gus Kerbin? The perk, the transponder element, so we get more money from landing far away from Kerbin. So we're coming in now. There's our Explorer. We're only a mere 5,000 kilograms, 5.9. I've done a test. These parachutes can certainly hold that amount of weight as long as these legs are out. And my tests involved a full fuel tank, so we should be just fine with a light fuel tank. And of course, like clockwork, we're heading in over the mountains. This game just, like, it's uncanny now. It's like, alright, I get it, game. You don't like me. You don't have to keep shoving it in my face every single time. With the damn clouds. Or we might blow right by the mountains here, actually. We might just blow right by them. Oh, good. We have a circle. That's good. Wow. Decelerating at about 8 Gs. That's quite a bit of G's. Still burning up nice and hot, but finally, yes, it looks like we might just land in this little bay here or something. Hopefully some sort of flat ground. Once we get a little lower, I will deploy the chutes. It is hard to see where we are because it's a big cloud that just came through right here, which is just so cool, though. Alright, let's get this thing going. There's our chutes. That should give us a good deal of drag. We'll put the surface display on just to see all the info. We don't really need vessel information either. So we're about 11,000 meters up. Drag is about 92 kilonewtons and falling. Our pressure is going up. In fact, we could do probably a pressure scan. We've already got one, though. While flying at Kerbin. Yeah, we don't need any more of that, apparently. Ooh, wow. Heading through the clouds now. That's an interesting picture. It really shows off the beauty of this mod. I love it. I love this mod. Again, many thanks to Astronomer himself, the guy who made this mod. He was nice enough to post my how to install this mod on his website. And because he did that, I've had a spike in views. So I'm so thankful to him for doing that. And I hope that tutorial did help you guys if you wanted to install it. Alright, looks like it's... yeah, this looks relatively flat. As long as our chutes deploy relatively soon. Alright. That always worries me for a second. Let's see what happened to our... looks like our other thing fell already. The service module has already landed somewhere. Crashed, no doubt, because that didn't have any parachutes. I could have probably put some on there, actually. That would have been a nice thing to do. This way I could have recovered that also and gotten even more money back, but I don't always think of everything, guys. I think of most things, but not everything. So we're going to land at a pretty gentle 7 meters per second. This thing's pretty much weightless. It's empty. There's nothing left in it. Still get no signs from the pressure data. That's okay. Even if it does tip over and some things fall off, we can just recover them separately, but I think it's going to be just fine. Ooh. There it is. There it is, everybody. Oh, we got little grasslands over here. That's nice. You know, there's some really pretty areas of Kerbin. Some mountains over there. Where are we exactly? We're somewhere in the southern hemisphere on precisely the opposite side of Kerbin. I mean, it's like ironic by this point. It's uncanny how my ability to land on the opposite side of the KSC is. It just happens all the time. I can't quite explain it. The game just knows. The game has become sentient in 0.25, and it knows that I don't want that. But anyway, let's just get this thing recovered. Recover the vessel. Mission accomplished. Contract complete. Science gathered. It's been a long one, guys, but I'm glad you're with me on the journey. It was a fun journey. Let's see, how much... Ooh, we got a nice 2,700. Awesome. Let's see, EVAs from space near Moho. Those are nice. EVA reports surface sample from Moho was key. 300, that's a big one. EVA report from the surface, 80. Seismic scan, gravity scan, temp scan, those were all nice. 200, 200, and then 80. The materials bay was 200 in space. The goo and material bay from the surface, 250. And the recovery of the vessel. Alright. So we got, we're again quite far away, 1,400 kilometers from KC, so it's a 34%. I guess that's plus 12%. So I guess that increases the value to, I don't know, 46%. That's okay. That's pretty good. Total funds, 2,700,000. Now we lost a good deal of funds because we had to send basically 2 missions, and those were not cheap missions. Those missions we just sent, each one was, I don't know, like 2 million. So we might have to go to the building here and choose another one of these things, maybe the fundraising campaign or something, because we have so much rep, we can definitely afford to sacrifice it. But I think we'll save all these little modifications for the next episode of Kerbal Space Program. Let's take a look at the contracts. We have Drez, Elu finally, Lathe, Tile, and Vol. So I'll pick a nice contract for the next time. We can start another mini-series. But until then, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next episode.